Hey guys, it's Flower, and today I want to do something a little bit different for you. Recently I was challenged to a Big 3 challenge by Three Pick Adventures. And if you don't know what the big three are when you're backpacking, it's your backpack, your tent, and your sleeping bag. And I was going to do that video for you, but I've had some other people recently ask what's in my bag when I backpack. And I figured, you know what, I've been on the Appalachian Trail for over 500 miles already, so I might as well just do a full review of everything that I take with me. So let's take a look at what's in my bag. So let's start out with the backpack itself. I use an Osprey Aura 65 AG. It is not an ultralight bag, but it is a very popular bag for women out on the trail. I've loved it so far. It has just the right amount of pockets, not too many, not too few. It has a really great internal frame that keeps the weight off your shoulders and on your hips, kind of where it should be. And it's got this really nice mesh that keeps it off your back, so when it's hot and sweaty, you definitely get a breeze through there. It helps keep you cool. And on the front, I do have this little rain shield pocket from REI. I keep my phone in there, and I do have a little stick knife just for my own protection. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I do keep a little thing of pepper spray right on the front of my bag. Not that I ever really think I would need it, but just in case. And this backpack also does, of course, come with its own rain cover. Okay, moving on to sleeping bags. During the warmer months, I take an Enlightened Equipment quilt out there because nobody wants to be in a hot, stuffy sleeping bag when it's that toasty on the trail. This one is absolutely great. Has a foot box that can be buttoned up or left open, and you can just use it as a blanket if it's really warm. When the weather cools down, I use a full-on sleeping bag. This one is from Nemo. I absolutely love this sleeping bag because it is wide. I actually cannot sleep in a mummy bag at all. I just have to be able to move around. So anybody who suffers from that and just needs that extra movability inside the bag, this is a great bag. It also has some venting on the front there, and it really does have this great flap that keeps in the warmth when you need it. One of my luxury items is the Cocoon little hood camp pillow, and it just makes all the world of difference. Sometimes you really can just stuff all your extra clothes or something under your head, but there are times when you're sleeping in all of your extra clothes and you just want that little something extra. This barely weighs anything, it's great. For a sleeping pad, I use the Insulated Static V-Lite by Klymit. So it has kind of a different design to it, and when I first got it, I was curious how in the world it was going to work. But I have had a number of sleeping pads over the years, and this is the only one that has ever allowed me to sleep on my side, on my back, on my stomach, all without waking up a million times in the night with shoulder pain or hip pain. I really love this pad. And to finish off the big three, my tent is a Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL2. It is a freestanding two-person tent and super easy to put up. Love this tent. I think I've mentioned it in another video, though. If you are planning to put two people in there, you better really like that person because it's not that big. It is big enough for two people, but I like to keep my gear inside there as well, so it works especially well for me and my gear. And the mesh top on it works really well when it's hot out and you just want to look up at the stars or get some ventilation, but it obviously also does have a rainfly that I use quite a bit on the Appalachian Trail. So moving on to food storage. I'm very much a wildlife enthusiast and I care very much about the bears. Do not want them to become acclimated to eating food, but I also know that I'm not the type of person who likes to hang a bear bag. So I have carried this bear canister before. It is the big one from Bear Vault, and it's worked really great. Super easy. Definitely keeps the bears out, and I love it. It does take up a bit of space though in your bag. So recently I have moved on to the Ursack, which is this super tough fabric. And this one is the Almighty, which is also rodent proof, which is awesome. And I've loved it so far. I haven't had any issues, and I just pretty much put a liner in there, like a turkey roasting bag, to help also keep down on the odors. It cinches up really nicely, and you just tie it to a tree at night without hanging it. It's great. My current shoe of choice is the Hoka Stimson, and I actually tried the Altra Lone Peaks, loved them, but my knees did not love them, so apparently I needed something with a little bit more structure, which these have, and they've lasted me quite a long time. I still have a couple more 100 miles in them, I think. I carry 2 pairs of socks. I really love Darn Toughs. I think most hikers do. And I also really like Injinjis, but I lost mine and need to get a new pair. I wear Dirty Girl gaiters, and this type of trail you don't necessarily have to have them to keep, you know, rocks and things like that out, but I've found that they have done a really good job of keeping small stones and pine needles and dirt and things like that out of my shoes. I've been wearing these Nike Dry Fit shorts for pretty much every section hike so far. I love them, and I picked them specifically because they have this flat band. I found that shorts that have the elastic sort of runched up bands tend to pinch where the backpack rides on my hips, so I like that flat band. Any old synthetic fiber tank top that wicks away sweat will do for you. As far as sports bra, any one will do. Again, I just picked this one that has no metal clasps or anything like that that would also pinch. I always have a long sleeve merino base layer. This one happens to be from REI. And for pants, I have absolutely fallen in love with these North Face trekking tights. They're the perfect weight, and they have pockets here for cell phones or whatever else you want to put in there, some snacks or something. Again, they've got this flat band up here that doesn't pinch and doesn't runch up. They've got a really soft fabric throughout the front, and so your knees don't hurt. But then in the back, it's a little bit more reinforced so that you don't put a hole when you're sitting on a rock or a stick or something like that. I always carry a ball cap and some cheap sunglasses, and then also when it's starting to get a little bit colder, I just take a little pair of gloves as well. All right, and my puffy jacket is from Enlightened Equipment again. I absolutely love this company. Their stuff is so incredibly lightweight, and it is way warmer than it actually looks. I obviously carry a rain jacket. This one I just got for Christmas, and it is from REI. Super lightweight again. Absolutely love it. It's done a great job so far. And my rain pants are a Patagonia pair. And you always want to have separate sleep clothes, so in case your clothes get really wet during the day, you always have something dry to put on in the evening to get into your sleeping bag. In the warmer months, I just have a pair of cotton shorts, and any old tank top will do. And then in the cooler months, I do like a base layer. I have some thin layers, and then I also have some thick fleece stuff as well, and then a pair of sleep socks that always stay dry. They never go on my feet when I'm hiking. And my sleeping bag and all of my clothing that I'm not currently wearing just goes in a stuff sack at the bottom of my bag. This one is from Sea to Summit, but there are plenty of different stuff sacks out there. I also use a pair of camp shoes, so at the end of the day when my feet just need to get out of my shoes and breathe, I have something to put on, and they also work really well for any type of water crossing that you have to do and you don't want to get your shoes wet. And these are Tevas. I've had them for years and I love Tevas. My cook system consists of, obviously, fuel. I have an MSR little pocket rocket, tiny little stove, and this titanium pot. And I actually don't drink coffee, so I don't need 2 different pots. I don't need a cup. I just eat everything straight out of that. And of course a lighter. And I also made this homemade koozie. I watched a video from Homemade Wanderlust on how to make one. It was super easy, and it's really nice because you just put your pot in there and it keeps it nice and hot while it's cooking. For water, I'm pretty typical of any hiker. I use smart water bottles and of course the Sawyer Squeeze to filter water out of ponds and streams and springs. I do use trekking poles, and these ones are just a real cheap one. They are Cascade brand, Mountain Tech, and I got them for about $35 on Amazon, and they have lasted me about 700 or so miles of backpacking so far. And then just some other miscellaneous items that I do take along. I usually have a buff with me. You never know when that's going to come in handy. I've got one of these, just a little mini sit pad. Sometimes you don't want to sit on hard rocks or wet logs or whatever. Really comes in handy. I usually take a bug net. I haven't had to use it very much, so that's kind of nice. Headlamp. This one happens to be from Black Diamond, but there's a lot of brands out there. I do have this. This is a rescue beacon from ACR. On the Appalachian Trail, honestly, you probably would never need something like this, but it's a better safe than sorry type of thing for me. I have toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and I really do love these little lightweight trowels because honestly, sometimes when you're out there trying to dig your cat hole with a stick, it's really difficult, so that comes in really handy. And since I do all of my filming just on my iPhone, I do have to take a battery pack with me to keep myself powered up, and I really like this Anker
and a cord that goes with it.
And for anything that I want to film or I want to show myself doing something, I have this little Joby Gorilla Pod that works really well. You just put the phone right in there and you can attach it to trees or rocks or anything like that, and it works really well to film yourself. And other random items, I do carry picaridin insect repellent. That I haven't had to wear much either, but I do like it because it doesn't hurt your gear. When it's cold out, I like to take some of these hot hands. Just warms up your sleeping bag really nicely. And then in my emergency kit, I have, a couple field repair things, needle and thread, extra batteries. I do actually take Aquamira as a backup just in case my Sawyer squeeze would break or I'd lose it or something like that. A little antiseptic, and my knees sometimes bother me, so I take some KT tape. And for washing, if I can't just use water, I'll use these little wet wipes too. Sometimes the individual packet, or sometimes I'll take a larger packet as well. I take a comb, toothpaste, toothbrush, chapstick, deodorant. Yes, I do. A lot of hikers say that they don't wear deodorant and they don't care because you just stink anyways. And that's true, you do stink anyways, but I can tell you from experience that it does make a difference. So yes, I will be carrying deodorant, I don't care. And then I also do sometimes carry a lightweight razor because if you're gonna end up at a hostel or a hotel or something like that, the first thing you wanna do is take a shower. And you don't wanna have to go to the store first to try to come up with that. So I do carry that, it barely weighs anything. As far as knowing where I'm going and what's coming up, I actually don't have Guthook's app. Maybe I will someday, but right now I just use this Through Hiker's Companion. And what I do is just look at the parts that I'm about to do in that section, and I make a photocopy of those sheets only, the elevation profile, some information, and then the step-by-step thing like this where I can tell what's coming up on each mile marker. And I just go by that. There's a couple pages, weighs nothing. So that's it. Now you guys know what's in my pack. And there's a lot of great gear companies out there, so everyone's got their own preferences. By no means am I saying that any of this gear is what you should necessarily be carrying. Just get out there and buy some stuff and try it out for yourself, and you'll come to see what your preferences are. I'm just letting you know what's worked for me thus far on the Appalachian Trail and other small trails. And if you found this useful, please give it a like and feel free to subscribe. I'll see you guys down the trail.